everyone, Madeline Dell here, the Chapter Goddess. I am a mom, author, blogger, freelancer, podcaster, producer, and overall creative. With this show, I really want to focus on creatives and bring their authentic self to life. How are they motivated to pursue their passions? What have been the struggles along the way? Does self-care play an important role in who they are today and how they connect with the creative flow? Bringing one's authentic self to the forefront is important in this world that we live in currently. Sharing your self-care, your tips, and how you stay on track for things without losing it completely is also important. Self-care is not talked about enough, and authenticity and self-care are what I like to highlight with my creatives, as well as getting to know them. So get ready for a fun and entertaining show. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get ready to meet this episode's guest. Hello, everyone, and thank you to those of you who are joining me today. I am back again. I'm trying to make it a habit to jump on live on Wednesdays, but today's guest has not arrived yet. I honestly am not sure if they're going to make it. I haven't heard from them. So you guys get to hang out with me. And with that, you can, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to drop them in the chat. But what I'm going to do is kind of give you a little bit of an update on life and writing and where I'm at with things. And if you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, you guys, that is the best way to keep up with me. My email is the best way to contact me these days because life has just been insane. You can get my email and my newsletter, sign up for all of that at my website, thechaptergoddess.com. And I actually, so some fun perks about being a newsletter subscriber to my newsletter is that I have giveaways every month. And I'm actually, this month's giveaway is getting ready to be drawn. The newsletter went out at the beginning of the week for all my readers. You also get first chance opportunities to grab art copies, beta copies, help me out with different things when it comes to my writing. It's just a lot of fun. Yeah. But lately, I've been slowly working my way back into Ember's story. So for those of you who have read Black Flames, you've met Ember. We know she is heir to the throne of hell. Basically, she's going to eventually, if she lives, become queen of hell because she's Lucifer's only daughter, the only female that has the rightful way to the throne, however you want to word that, because I totally worded it wrong just then. Yeah, so with her in book 1, she discovers that, like, she's been living a lie, okay? Her mom had a one-night stand with the devil, and that's not too much of a spoiler because at the start of the book, we have that revelation. And I'm actually going to play a good little video I've got that I created. Just give me a minute to get it pulled up here for you guys. I'm going to play it for you guys. Let me see if I can do my screen sharing. So just hang tight with me for a second and ignore all of my tabs. Like, yeah, I have a lot of tabs. So let me see. Screen layout. Let me see if I can do this. Share screen. Okay. And we're going to go to this right here. Okay, guys. So let me see if I can turn it up a little bit for you. But okay.
This is what I've created for this book series. Living Flames is book 3 and it is coming soon. But yeah, let's check this out, guys. All right. So, let me get that switched around. So, the quotes in that are actually from book 1 and book 2. Let me get my camera situated here. And you can kind of see the tabbies. I've been trying to select more quotes to use for things. And you actually get a glimpse of the conversation that happens between Kai and Ember in book 2. I'm not going to give too much there because a lot happens between midway through Black Flames to the end of book 2 that forces Ember to embrace a lot more. She still has a lot of growing up to do. And then she's also thrown a lot of other things. As I'm totally about to quote a Spider-Man thing, but with great power comes great responsibility, right? We all know that. And that normally brings about a death of someone close to that person. And that kind of happens in this story, but not in the same way of a Marvel movie. Ember's dealt kind of a rough hand as she moves along, embracing who she is, her heritage, and learning more and more and more about not only what comes with being the heir to the throne of hell, but with having powers that have never existed in anyone else in the universe. Because she's got Lucifer's blood running through her veins. And this is kind of a spoiler. If you've read book 1 all the way through, you know this at the end. It's revealed that none of Lucifer's offspring have lived and made it to maturity. They were never ever given time to adjust to their powers. They were never trained to use them. And Lucifer has never found his true mate. And Ember, because she's been hidden away on Earth and her mother kept completely under wraps who she was, has been able to develop her powers, grow to maturity. And yes, she's being thrown into her magic because she's never had it. She's never shifted. And then here she goes. She finally shifts, gets her magic. But because she's been trained to become Luna of the Pack for so long, she's already got these kind of systems in place in her brain from studying that helps kind of let everything fall into place, if that makes sense. Yeah. And currently with my writing in book 3, oh man, is it a mess right now. I mean, not just because of like I'm in the midst of writing and I don't pay attention to any grammatical errors, spelling, whatnot. I just get it out on the page. And right now I'm reading over trying to make sure like where I'm at and get back into writing it. But everything's kind of coming to a head. And I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of toying with the idea of making the last book, instead of it being a trilogy, breaking it into parts and book, like part 1, part 2, just because there is so much happening in the first part of the book. And yeah, it's going to be extremely long. Like, if I put all of it together, I think it'll be the longest book in the series. So you guys don't be surprised if I end up breaking it up into 2 books. I know from here on out, I've had it, or from the start of this series, I've called it a trilogy. But, I mean, Ember's got a lot going on, guys. Yeah. So, and more people have kind of made their appearance in there. And I was actually asked not too long ago, I can't remember exactly who it was because I've been asked it a few times, if the Emberverse was ever going to cross paths with the Face Shifters verse. And that idea has kind of been toying too. So maybe, maybe not. People from that universe may show up in this final debacle that's going on. I don't know yet. I have the idea of the end set for the most part, because I've kind of transitioned from being a straight up pantser to a little bit of a planner. So we'll see how it actually comes out, because a lot of the time when I write something, as I write, it changes. But yeah, Ember's got a lot. So some of the things, I'm going to talk about some of the different themes that show up in book 2. Is a lot of it is growth. She's back on Earth at the start of it. She's been in hell. She was kidnapped, that's that all took place in book 1. But now she's on borrowed time. She's really kind of resigned herself to doing as much as she can for the pack before she knows she has to leave. There's still a lot of problems because of the information she found out about the pack alpha while being held hostage by Prospero. So she wants to make sure they're going to be okay for when she does have to go back, because she doesn't know if she's going to be able to come back and help them. Eventually she is forced to return because things get a little too intense without her there, too dangerous, and there's more and more and more just happening, and the pack's divided. It's just chaos. And that's kind of where book 3 picks up. There's a lot of extra stuff that happens in between there, but she goes through a lot of growth. She's forced to kind of let go of the pack for the most part, as much as she can. Her heart is still there because obviously that's family, that's home, that's where she's been, and her parents and her siblings, they're all there. But she's also torn because she's met all these people in her new life, so to speak, and she's learning the ins and outs of her magic. As things continue to progress and happen, attacks and fighting and loss, she's forced to grow into a person she never thought she was going to be. Yes, she was always prepared to be Luna of her pack, but when we first meet her, she's very young. Her thinking is very young. She's immature. She's not ready to take on that responsibility. And by the time we get to where book 3 is picking up, she's got all of this weight on her shoulders. She's accepting the responsibility. She's shouldering it as best as she can. But she's also being encouraged to feel, to not bottle it up. And I think that's an important lesson I want to get across to my readers is it's okay to feel, it's okay to care, because that's part of life. You need to feel. It's also why I talk about a lot of self-care with this kind of stuff. That she has to find new methods of self-care, and part of her self-care becomes crying it out first and then talking to her mates. Because yes, this is a reverse harem. It does get steamy. But she before wouldn't talk about her emotions, wouldn't talk about her feelings. And as she progresses through and so much more happens, she learns that it's better to do that. She's tempted several times to kind of take a toxic route, so to speak. One scene in particular that stands out to me is the scene where she's sitting at the table, they're having wine, and it kind of floats across her brain like she could just drown out all the pain, all the stuff that's bothering her, and just drink bukus and bukus of wine. Because she's a shifter and stuff, alcohol doesn't affect her the same way, but with enough, she can accomplish becoming intoxicated. And she stops herself before she goes too far and questions whether this is really what she wants to do. Yes, it would alleviate the pain and stuff at that moment, but the following day she would feel even worse, right? So the clarity in that was a big shift in her thinking, because things continued to get even worse after that. But that moment, I felt, for her helped shift her thinking to where she could handle what came next. And I guess if you guys see this later, like, and you want to share kind of like an aha moment like that, where you shifted your thinking to better your mental health or your self-care, like something similar to like what Ember did, I would love to hear it. Because Ember's still got a lot to go through in book 3. Right now, I'm kind of working on a fun scene. And it's not a steamy scene. It's more of a fighting training scene where she's training with her fellow hellhounds, and she's on Packland, and it's their level of intensity and fighting is extremely different compared to what the pack does. So the few people who come up across it, because they're kind of in hiding, they're not letting the pack know that, hey, she's got a ton of backup that's going to kick your ass hanging out in the woods close by, because they're trying to stay incognito because of the situation that's going on. But it's impresses those that are in on the secret that have never seen it before. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to write right now. But anyway, enough about those, I guess. I will be at WriterCon this week. If you guys want to come by Monday, they are having ReaderCon, where all of the authors, including myself, will be out selling our books, having our books available for you guys to come by and see us and chat with us, get autographs. I will be there with all of my books, both of the books in the series, because I ran out at the last con, the Face Shifters series, and I've got one close. This beauty right here, which I'm already probably going to have to order some new copies from Miss Amanda, will be available too. I'm really excited about it as well. I'm excited about all my books. Let's be real here, guys. But like, Amanda did an excellent job with this book, formatting it, having it put together. I know that Drafted Digital, I think, or I'm not sure if it was that. I think one of the websites was giving her a hard time about like getting the paperback together, but it turned out really well. This is a bunch of great authors in this collection with very different stories, very different ways of making deals with blood. And it's really fascinating. Some of these are in a perspective of making deals I would have never thought of, because of course my brain, I guess, because I have like the fantasy background, I'm like, okay, yeah, we're going to have a demon in here and stuff. And I do. I've got a crazy mean demon and a desperate soul, you know, but it doesn't quite turn out how the character would have hoped. Here's my story, guys. Stupid love. Because sometimes when you're in love, you do stupid things. So, but the people and their consequences of my story, yeah, it was a little heartbreaking, but tragic stories are sometimes the best. But yeah, guys. Well, if you're watching this later or even now, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. As we get ready to close here, I also want to mention that Go Indie Now is getting ready to start the fall season of This Week in Indies. I believe the first one is coming this Sunday, and we've got some changes coming up, guys. If you didn't catch the finale of last season, We're going to be playing an awesome game at the end. Joe's hosting the first one. I think I'm down for the second one. I don't have the list in front of me, but it's going to be another great fall season I'm going to now. I'm really excited because Character Driven is back again as well. And the first episode is coming up here pretty quick as well. I think next week, possibly. You'll see that floating around on my socials soon. But yeah, guys, thanks for joining me, hanging out. Like I mentioned before, hit the like button, subscribe, drop questions in the comments. I would love to answer them on lives. If you want to catch me on socials, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Obviously, if you're watching this on Facebook, you found me. You can hit like my author page. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. But sign up for my newsletter. And again, that's on my website where you can find all my books and a little bit of swag. Signed copies are available there too. So have a great rest of the day, guys. And I will see you next week.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to get future notifications when shows come out. Also, be sure to check out my website. I have a blog featuring this creative with some other fun and interesting questions. You can also subscribe to my newsletter there to stay up to date with all things the Chapter Goddess in Madeline Dale. Once again, thanks for watching and have a great rest of the day.